suplex.
Everybody out there in podcast, TV, broadcasting land, welcome to another edition of Thoughts Count Anywhere, coming to you from the Go Live Vegas studios in the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada. Welcome to the future Endeavored show of Thoughts Count Anywhere. Have we got a lot of crap to talk about today? I bet you can figure out what that's primarily going to be, plus some other stuff sprinkled in. I'm Aaron Phillips, sharing the microphones in the dais along with my good friends, wrestling pals and buddies, Mr. Chief and Mr. Matt Mullen. Gentlemen, how are you?
Doing great.
Top of the morning to you, sir.
Yes, sir. We're doing better than about 18 former wrestlers. Shame, shame, shame. But we'll get to that in a little bit. As you can see, I am donning the T-shirt of one said wrestler who has been future endeavored.
Yes.
It's going to bask in somebody else's glory soon.
That's right.
That's right. You got a story for us?
Story. Let's give us a story.
For us this week there,
I got a pretty good story.
Let's hear it.
On the side of our building, I was like watching the security cameras, and this guy kind of just fell over, and I was like, what the hell? And then he kind of stood still as I was like getting over there. He had like those cans of air in his hand, and he took like 2 huge hits and just fell over. I was like, is this dude for real?
I hate to ask where he shot the air.
Oh, he just shot him in his mouth.
Oh, it is.
Makes you pass out like instantly.
Does it really?
But I like woke him up.
We
kind
don't
of like got like aggravated, like he wanted to fight, and I was like, "Really, bro? Come on."
But we don't.
Yeah, it's one of these.
But we don't.
Why is it empty, Aaron? You got some explaining to do.
We don't condone that here.
No, we don't
By no means.
But it was funny. He kind of like got up, like he was like ready to fight, and he like pulled up like his pants for some reason. And on his ankle was an ankle monitor.
Oh, my goodness.
So Metro came and picked him up.
There you go. He got a free ride home, whatever that home may be. Oh, my goodness. Well,
He's right next to an NFL player somewhere.
Oh, my goodness gracious. We don't have to ask Aaron about breakfast cereals anymore because he doesn't eat breakfast anymore. So, we don't, other than maybe cold pizza now, I think that's about all he can do for breakfast.
No shredded wheat?
Nope. Barely gets a cup of coffee from his wife, but that's about it. He doesn't do breakfast anymore.
You in the doghouse, are you? Okay.
No, you've lost, what, about 15, 20, 25 pounds?
You're
or ounces? Oh, he's gained 5.
You're looking.
I was trying to help
I was
you.
going to say you were looking svelte.
It's the hair. He got a new haircut today.
Is that what it is?
Or yesterday.
All right.
Svelte. SV, there's a V in there.
Yeah,
S-V-E-L-T-E.
he did get a haircut. So most of the gray's gone. Okay.
It is?
Yeah.
Only if you close your eyes. Only if you close your eyes did the gray go. Anyway.
I gotta pay.
That's right. All right. It's time for some rumors. Let's go into I Hear Voices.
Ding, ding, ding.
Rumor is with Kyle O'Reilly contract coming up next month, there's a chance we could see the Undisputed Era reunite in AEW to take on the Elite. Gentlemen, thoughts?
Freaking epic. I hope that happens.
Chief?
Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly.
And Adam Cole turning on the Elite, and off to the races we go.
Yeah, that'd be all right. That'd be a good storyline. I like that.
I wonder if Kyle O'Reilly is related to Charles Nelson Riley. Do you even know what that is? Charles Nelson Riley.
Might as well said it in Chinese. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
No, you do.
Yeah, of course I do.
I'll just leave it at that.
How old is that shit?
He's dead. He's dead. He's dead, so don't worry about it. He claimed to fame was on the original Match Game with Gene Rayburn as the panelist. Anyway.
And then he's going to ask us who Gene Rayburn is.
I know.
And I'm going to tell
We're going down this bad rabbit hole.
I'm going to tell him, look it up.
I don't have my old Encyclopedia
We don't have no
Britannica.
All right, I want to skip the next one because I think that will lead into the overall topic of performers being released. So let's go to, rumor is Bray Wyatt has no interest in working the indies, so it's either AEW or Impact Wrestling at this point. Somebody said last week about possibly re-signing with WWE.
Yeah, possibly. Who knows?
Do you really think?
I'll tell you what.
In light of what we just saw happen, I doubt it.
Oh, hell no.
With all the reports that he was so hard to work with, which is, I think, bullshit, because creative wanted to make him do dumb stuff, and he stood up for his character, so that made him difficult.
Yep.
But hopefully he goes to Impact solely because they're here every month for a while.
That would be cool.
So selfishly, I want to see him debut live in person.
Yeah, that would be
But
cool.
most likely he's going to AEW.
You know what? His character would fit in New Japan. It would fit.
Well,
it would fit in New Japan.
but it could not be exactly like the Fiend.
No.
So how would he? Which character? Are we talking about the Fiend-like character
Well,
or the original Bray Wyatt style character?
yeah, the original.
Okay, because now he's going to be wrestling under his real name, right? If I
Yes.
read that correctly,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Not too
Wyndham.
long ago, right?
Yes. Or let me ask you this, guys. Could there be a tag team formed, possibly?
With
Him and his brother?
oh, why not? Because didn't
And what if Dad came in and became the manager? Or Uncle?
oh, I don't see the uncle doing it.
Maybe.
Not. I don't see that doing it.
Maybe Dad.
Maybe.
And then you have a feud with Tully and Arn. See, I can script wrestling matches. That's not a
I get where
problem.
Garth came up with that meme now.
Oh,
Yeah.
can we share that? Did we send that in?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, send it in. Send it in to Aaron. Let's put that up for fun. Anyway,
But that could be an interesting note.
but didn't Bray want to work with his brother in WWE? He wanted him to be part of the family, didn't he? The Wyatt family at some point, and they turned it down, didn't they?
Help
Yeah,
me-
and they
help
even
me,
had like
Matt.
plans of doing stuff with like the Fiend and stuff,
Right.
and it always kept getting like
Kiboshed.
kiboshed at like the last second.
Okay, so I don't know. I don't know if I'll just refer to him as Bo. If Bo's previous resume, as we know it, as we viewed it on WWE programming, is of the same level and warrant for him to be paired with Bray, unless there's a compelling story to make that happen. Does that make sense?
From when I talked to Bo, they had a really compelling story.
No, they had a story. May have a story laid out, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is prior to that, okay, Bo was not on the same level of performance. He was mid-card at best. Bray was up here on main card contention, right?
Yes.
So even on another circuit, what warrants the pairing of a mid-carder by what we've previously seen to be paired with a main eventer other than coming up with a huge story? But do you understand what I'm saying?
It's called working. It's called working.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
No matter how far they are on the roster separate, all the fans know their brothers, so they
True.
buy any
Yep.
story that they come up with.
It's a great
honestly.
point.
You know,
Yeah.
let's face it. You look at Stone Cold, you look at Triple H, you look at Shawn Michaels. They could go in the ring with anyone and make them look fantastic.
Okay.
Okay. Being that it's Bray and Bo, it's blood. I really think those two knuckleheads can do some creative stuff.
I mean, I
There's
for
no
one would
doubt in my mind.
I for one would love to see it. Don't get me wrong. They could tear it down, right?
I think so.
But
Not
where
even like main roster problems like they did. Like Bo Dallas was like able to fully show what he can do in NXT, and
Right.
then of course you get to the main roster and B team, go go go.
only if you believe.
could you see Bray? You know, even if a tag team doesn't happen, could you see Bray coming out and doing something with Aleister Black? That would be freaking awesome. As creative as those two guys are, that would be awesome.
As good as Bray Wyatt is, I can see him making something cool with literally any company, any wrestler.
Except
his
the
creative-
WWE.
Let his creative juices go,
Butt
and
heads.
he can make magic.
I think so.
I think we ought to just point. I don't know if you saw my message in the group chat we had about all these performers being released. I just think we ought to just create a GoFundMe account and start our own wrestling group and bring all those people in and start our own wrestling thing.
Hey, while
I'm down.
I'm thinking about it real
Yes.
quick before we get out of whack, FSW's got a show tomorrow night, 7:00 at the FSW Arena. Versus got a show tomorrow at 1:30, I believe. At
What
the
day?
Tomorrow,
What day are we talking about?
Saturday.
You mean later
No,
today?
I mean
Today.
today.
You mean later
Whoa.
today? Wow, where's that three-quarter
Man,
half-imers?
later today, They will have a show at 1:30 at the Boulevard Mall, and during the weekend at Taco Fest at Craig Ranch Park, BVW will be performing at different times between, I believe, 1:30 and 4:30 each day.
That's an annual event for them.
Yes, it is.
I was invited about 2 days ago to go up and do commentary, but unfortunately I'm not available. But I did offer post-production that if they want...
if you was going, I'd have bought you a taco, man. That's right up by the house.
I know it is, but unfortunately... I just can't squeeze it in this weekend.
I'm still going to have a taco.
Well, have one. You know what? Get a second one for me.
And I'm going to slam one in Ricky's face.
I would pay to see.
Video or it didn't happen.
Maybe Sunday. Maybe Sunday I'll just give Damien the taco and let him do it.
All right, let's go on to another topic. With rumors surrounding Charlotte Flair of her being unhappy in WWE, do you think WWE would actually release her? After the list that just came down, personally, there would be one time where I would have said, I doubt it. But after the names that we've seen released, over 70 wrestling talents since January 1st of this year alone have been released by WWE. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible, especially if they thought Bray was uncomfortable, was unruly in the back because of his desire to express his own interest, and Charlotte causing an uproar. Nothing would surprise me at this point.
Before all the releases started, if you would have told me give me 5 names you think will never be actually fired from WWE, Bray Wyatt would have been on my list for sure. So there ain't anything out the window by now.
No, absolutely. It's like we always say when somebody retires, right? We never say never.
And if they say they're because of budget cuts, releasing Charlotte is probably the salary of 7 or 8 of those people.
Sure. Now,
easy.
No, it was the.
No, he did this.
I saw it do the air quotes.
He did this, not this. He did.
Wow, he's calling you out.
Did you go to a Canadian doctor for them glasses?
You know what's interesting?
Maybe you should put those Bret Hart glasses on so you can see better.
He never listens to anything we do on the show, unless it's related to something dirty. Have you noticed that? That peaks.
Oh, I'm sure you heard Taco Fest and his.
Well, we know tacos can have a whole different. Well, anyway, all right.
It's Sin City. You never know.
That's very true. All right, let's go on to the last rumor topic that we have here, and that is rumors WWE is planning to release NXT stars every 6 months to evaluate the talent and check on their improvement. Whose improvement? If they keep releasing NXT talent, how are they checking on them? Unless they're checking them over the 6 months before they decide to release them.
Yeah, I'm sure they're checking on them daily and see who's improving, who's not. That makes sense over releasing half of your freaking
main roster, your money makers. But it seems to me with the 70 odd performers that have been released this year, not counting how many were released during the pandemic period, the very first cuts after that WrestleMania, it almost seems like they're making that evaluation by being called up to the main roster first and then evaluating them after they tweak their character, which is not nearly as successful as it was in NXT, bring them up to the main roster, and then all of a sudden they decide, it's not working, let's cut them from the main roster and say goodbye.
I wonder what the talent's more scared of. Their phone ringing in, it's John Laurinaitis saying you've been endeavored, or if it's John Laurinaitis saying you're going to the main roster.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure the second one probably would scare me more.
At this rate, the track record is there for that. What you got? Hot off the presses?
I want to read something.
All right.
Following the release of 18 WWE superstars, the company has now confirmed that they will be replacing Christina Celine as Chief Financial Officer. Frederick A. Riddick III will now take up the role of WWE CFO and Chief Administrative Officer.
It's on the red sheet.
So, guess what? That makes me wonder, is the company going to go up for sale? And did this young lady possibly know something and do something for her career before it happens? And I'll just leave it at that.
Well,
come on, Tony Khan, do it.
Nick Khan, about a few months ago maybe, for the first time ever that I can ever think of, was the first WWE representative to even suggest that if the phone were to ring with an offer from somebody or some entity, they'd be listening. First time ever anybody under WWE umbrella even put that out there publicly. Okay? Now, is it not true the other day when Vince had his quarterly meeting, whatever, apparently the information that was put out like live, or there was something that was done in that meeting, and it escapes me what the exact thing was, that he did something very unusual during that meeting in making that information available publicly almost immediately. And he's never done that before.
They don't get oddly specific with like numbers, but they let it all out.
They let it all out. So if listen, if what we were all predicting, Triple H, MIA since his heart procedure, and we hope it's nothing serious. Stephanie, very involved obviously with the company and a brand ambassador and a chief officer of marketing, whatever, but there's kids at home that they want to spend time with, right? You're not giving it to Shane.
I've had a heart procedure myself, and I haven't had open heart surgery, but I've had some stents put in my heart, and I do know people that have had open heart surgery. And normally, after 6 months, you're back in the saddle. For me, it was a week, and I was back in the saddle. Okay, so how serious? And if it is serious, which I think it is, I'm very glad that it's staying out of the dirt sheets, and Triple H and Steph are handling their personal life so nobody knows about it.
Right.
My thoughts and prayers do go out to Triple H.
Absolutely. So I'll just share the information that was just put up on the screen. I'll follow it up with a question that we'll answer when we come back from our first break. So WWE promoted, as Chief said, interim Chief Financial Administrative Officer Frank Riddick III on November 5th by removing the interim from his role. Because this move was filed publicly, the specific terms of his agreement are available. The document outlines Riddick will earn $850,000 a year as his base salary, $1 million as his signing bonus, and $5 million in stock. With that, I will ask you this as we ponder to go to break. How much money did they save by doing that versus letting go 18 wrestlers? With that, we'll ponder that as we go to break. You're watching Thoughts Count Anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
It's not the worst podcast ever, is it? It's the best podcast. Thoughts Count Anywhere. All your wrestling news, all your hobbit hey, all your gimmickry. Go on over, listen wherever your podcasts are downloaded. The Thoughts Count Anywhere podcast. I'm the big LG Doc Ellis. That's my endorsement. Booyah!
At Firehouse Subs, a portion of every purchase helps provide much-needed life-saving equipment to first responders. We make our subs differently because our subs make a difference. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs. Save more lives.
If inspiration is the beginning, where does it lead? Experience the 2021 Mazda 3 sedan and see where inspiration can take you.
Grab the brass ring in a 2021 Mazda 3 with exclusive FSW discounts at Findlay Mazda. Get Garth today at the Valley Auto Mall.
Hi there.
Hi.
I asked a question before a break, and we're still going over it as the mics were coming hot. All right. So the question was, welcome back to Thoughts Count Anywhere, by the way. The question was, as I read the statement that the new chief financial muckety-muck, Mr. Riddick, was making a base salary of $850,000 plus a $1 million signing bonus, okay? Then $5 million worth of stock, which we know at least at this point the stock should continue to go up, especially if they continue reporting positive earnings, right?
Yeah.
So 18 people were released. Everybody from, as we know, Karrion Kross, Scarlett, Mia Yim, all the way on down to Harry Smith, Jesse Camilla, Nia Jax, Frankie Monet, etc. How much annual salary, just in all of those names, for just 1 year? Let's keep it relative because the salary is a year. The signing bonus is one time. Okay, $5 million. I mean, with inflation over stocks, we really don't know what that could be. But if we just add up those numbers, 850, $1 million, so we'll round out to 2, and $5 million in stock. This guy got signed today for a value right now of $7 million.
Yeah.
For 1 year, roughly. I know the stocks will go up, but let's just put it all into 1 year, right? $8.5 million or $8 million, whatever it was. How much do you think these individuals in a year, based on their contract, and Chief, you're 100% right, as you were saying, as we were coming out of break, some of them based on length of term or whatnot, but we also, at least I believe, and so please correct me if I'm wrong, there are not a whole lot of $1 million a year contracted wrestlers. There's a select few, right?
Yeah.
I kind of agree with what Matt said. I think around $5 million.
Okay, so if that's the case, I have a degree in mathematics, and I teach youngsters how to add and subtract.
Yeah, but you went to Penn State, so
well, that's true.
That's
And you work for the Clark County
not
School
relevant.
District, so.
Well, I think that's the worst problem. But anyway, $8.5 million. Such disrespect. A few $1 million take away $5 million. They're in the red still.
32.5.
For 37.5.
Oh, okay.
For 1 year, right? They're still in the red. Am I not? I mean,
Yeah.
so what did they gain on the bottom line?
I don't know.
Nothing.
Not a damn thing.
How are you going to release 18 wrestlers for budget cuts on the same day you report you made $252 million in 3 months?
How much of it, though, was
And by the way, WWE, you're welcome for SummerSlam.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Because a lot of that was the success of SummerSlam.
Correct.
So,
How
on
much-
behalf, for everybody in Vegas, WWE, you're welcome. Stop letting our favorite wrestlers go.
The estimated cost to run an average pay-per-view event is estimated between $2.2 and $3.7 million. To run it, right. To run it. Now, how much of the $252 million was brought in by merchandise, right? Because we always talk about how much merchandise they bring in. So in a way,
There was a lot sold at SummerSlam.
Okay, exactly. And during the pandemic, when there was nobody in the Thunderdome, they were still selling shirts and hats and belts and everything else. Why? Because I know us sitting here probably spent a few dollars on some items. So
Yeah.
but they're still making money bringing it. So in a way, it seems to me like merchandising is almost more important to them, and branding and merchandising, than it is the actual wrestling event.
They
Right?
don't make their money on live events. They make it all on merchandise
Absolutely.
and TV deals.
But without the TV exposure, right, which is big, obviously, but without the local investment of local shows for people to really buy in on some of the talent, I don't know if merchandise would be as hot as it is today. During the pandemic, we had to rely on the YouTubes and some previous stuff to look at in history. And I know merchandise is big. And, by the way, thoughtscananywhere.com, go to our merch store and help us out. And also, we're on prowrestlingtees.com. Anyway, I digress.
I want to. With that being said,
Yeah.
when does Charlotte Flair's WWE contract expire? According to PW Insider,
Right.
Charlotte Flair currently has, years left on her current WWE contract and is considered an important asset.
I think her contract's till 2023.
and
Is
this
that right?
and this article
Yeah.
was written the 25th of October.
Okay, so it's about
So
10
it's
days.
pretty current.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think I read maybe before that, 2023 possibly. She just re-signed, didn't she, within the last year?
I thought
it-
she did.
Right? But again, we've seen contracts are nothing more than the paper they're written
I
on.
know BFAB signed a contract 3 days before she got fired, so that don't mean
Well,
shit.
let me ask a question. Mr. Harry Smith, he signed a contract. Was he even seen on TV at all?
No.
So why would you sign him and then cut him? That's especially when it's the British Bulldogs. Son.
Well, I have a funny feeling, Where's the lineage of the Bulldogs? Owen Hart and that whole family dynamic, right? Didn't we see AEW just do something with Owen Hart Foundation and whatnot? Maybe part of that Harry Smith release had to do with the Hart family showing up over on AEW? Maybe?
That could be.
I don't know.
I know. I've talked to Diana before, and she's really not. I'm gonna be politically correct. She's not very
Fond?
of Vince McMahon, and I'll just leave it at that.
Aaron is sharing with us here on the teleprompter. WWE reported $82 million in revenue for 12 pay-per-views. WrestleMania alone does about $1.3 million in buys. 11 pay-per-views make an average of $15 million as a whole. Profit per pay-per-view, however, is only around $1.3 million per year based on 29. Huh?
Per episode.
Okay.
1.3 million per episode.
Okay, per
Per show.
episode as of 2019. Raw averages 2.6 million.
Aaron, would you do me a favor? You put a thing up about Jose Lothario. Would you put that back up? I'd like to read that.
Jose Lothario?
Yes. We can continue
Okay,
on.
no,
that.
I'm just trying to digest Jose Lothario.
You never heard of him?
Probably did.
The old guy that came out of WrestleMania 12 with Shawn.
That will be my guy. Let's see. Garza, Angel
That's what I
Garza.
remember him for.
Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo officially have a tag team name.
And just like that, no one cares.
No. Stop. The name could be a tribute to Jose Lothario, the legendary wrestler who trained Shawn Michaels, but it looks like there is more to their name. So, Lothario as a man whose chief interest is seducing women. And we'll just leave it at that.
And still, just like that, no one cares.
Okay, but
Those are two names that should have been on
The
the
only
list.
the only thing I'm going to say is I remember when Shawn Michaels wrestled down in Texas, for Joe Blanchard, Tully's dad, and Jose Lothario was a champion down there, and he did train Shawn. So I wonder if Shawn, out of respect to Jose, came up possibly with the name for the tag team and gave it to him.
Well, let's finish the Merriam. Right, Webster gave the definition. Wait, don't kill it yet. The definition that you came up with, but Oxford Languages states that Lothario is, quote, a man who behaves selfishly and irresponsibly in his sexual relationships with women. Garza and Carrillo were two of the guys that Paul Heyman pushed last year when he was the executive director of Monday Night Raw, but the push ended when he lost power. Listen, even if he came up with that name, those who understand the translation, I don't know that that's a good name to pick.
It was on SmackDown,
Well,
so it had nothing to do with anything creative.
Well, evidently they're still on TV, so
I guess so. Hey, you know,
know.
more to the more power to it.
Yeah.
All right. Now that we've dissected just about half of the list on our WWE report. with all
I'm
that-
sorry.
No, it's good. No, I'm only kidding. All right, reports say Vince pulled Cross off Raw because he didn't get over with the fans. Did he really get a fair chance to get over? I don't know. Maybe he didn't watch NXT. I don't know. I thought that was getting over with the fans. Everybody couldn't wait for him to get promoted up to Raw or SmackDown. But anyway, I digress.
Vince McMahon needs a freaking good future Endeavored himself.
Reports are saying age and vaccination status might have been part of some of the releases. So, are the likes of Bobby Lashley and AJ Styles safe? And who is actually safe on the roster? Because AJ's been out for a little bit, right, Chief?
Yes, I haven't seen him since the last pay-per-view. Well, yeah, I've seen him, but I don't think he's wrestled.
So he's got like a non-injury health thing going on. They haven't really specifically said what. But if they're trying to get rid of older wrestlers, who's actually untouchable in the WWE?
Reigns, I think, would be the
I
only.
would say like Reigns and Rollins and anybody. Becky, Sasha.
How about Randy Orton as coming from our rogues gallery over there?
Yeah, because if all the crazy shit he did even younger,
Right.
he should have been fired like 10 times over. So
He did what he needed to do to get himself cleaned up, though.
That is very true.
And you know, I'll just leave it at that for now.
Yep. All right. So do you think the vaccination status could be a key with some of these guys and gals? I mean,
I guess that's why Nia Jax got fired, because she was posting stuff about not getting vaccinated like last year.
I don't know if you heard me say this. I saw, where did I see it? I remember where I saw it. But she actually, part of her release possibly came from the fact that she actually asked for extended mental health leave.
Oh yeah, I saw that
So,
on her. It was on her Instagram.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, we're not there to know for sure what the heck's going on, but we'll get to that breaking news in a moment. I want to skip
It's on
that
the
one.
run sheet too.
That one is?
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll get to it. Very good. All
Don't
right.
need a crack research staff for this show.
No. Happy anniversary to The Rock. 25 years ago this month, The Rock actually debuted as, what was his name? Do you remember?
Rocky Maivia.
Rocky Maivia, coming out with the crazy hair and the semi like Pete Maivia, right? The fringes hanging kind of thing. And God, thank goodness he got better. Anyway.
You know, his mom's one of the sweetest ladies I've ever met.
I missed meeting her at CAC a couple of years ago by like
She's
a minute.
awesome.
Ada Johnson is
She's awesome.
awesome.
You got that right, brother.
I would have loved to have had an opportunity to meet her. Okay, Zoe Stark injured and set to undergo knee surgery and could be out of action for quite some time. Similar to, Bailey has been out of action, they're saying 9 months from the time of her injury. Huh? There you go.
I'm sure that's...
There's the debuting Rocky Maivia.
I'm sure...
I'm going to guess that's the first time you've seen that. Of course. Of course.
Only on Thoughts Count Anywhere.
That's right. We will drive the car off the cliff anytime. All right. So Zoe Stark is out having that injury.
Hopefully it's not an ACL injury.
God,
She's
I
out
hope
like
not.
9 months.
I hope not.
Miz eliminated from Dancing with the Stars. I thought he did. I thought he did. I didn't watch it, but from all accounts, he did okay.
I heard he did okay on there.
Lost about 25 pounds while dancing, though. Maurice is not happy about that.
He did really good from the stuff I saw, like highlights on like YouTube and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of hoping he was going to win, just for storyline wise, to come back on Raw with a trophy and really get into people's shit would be hilarious.
What's next for The Miz?
He's got to get back on a singles run. He doesn't need Morrison at all, in my opinion.
Well, the question is, how long's Morrison going to be there now?
I don't think much, because they've basically made a laughing stock out of this drip crap that they did. And they're, again, another talent that came back who made great strides in Lucha and all the other places, right? Impact, and then comes back to WWE with a little bit of a splash, although it was one of the world's worst kept secrets when he debuted again, and really hasn't done much because he was riding with The Miz and really hasn't had a run by himself.
It's funny. I think about it. We've been fortunate here in Vegas. At least I have. I've seen people like Johnny Morrison, like Keith Lee, like Kevin Cross, like Johnny's wife,
Taya
Valkyrie, Scarlett, Mia Yim. I've seen them out here as professional wrestlers. I know what they can do, all of them. I've seen them more than once for some of them. And what I know we're going to talk about it later, but what just happened, WWE, you need your fucking head examined. And I'll leave it at that.
And that's only a tease to the rant, ladies and gentlemen. Because I don't know what the rant is, but he's fired up. As a matter of fact, are you ready to go for your rant?
Whenever.
You ready?
Whenever you want to do it.
So as I read our segment introduction, our crack producer can get ready. So, the Chiefs Rant is being brought to you at this time by the Bruise Brothers Collectibles Show. Catch them every Sunday, 2 p.m. on Facebook on the Top Rope Collectibles page. Just simply go to Top Rope Collectibles at the top of the Facebook search bar. Punch in Brew Brothers, 2 p.m. Sundays, and you'll be taken there to some great value and fun. We want to thank them for sponsoring the Chiefs Rant. And with that, it's time now to hear the Chief Rant.
Good morning, everybody. It is the Chief and the Chief's Rant. My 3 minutes of fame is now 2:58. Anyway, nobody knows what I'm going to rant about today, but I'm definitely going to take more than 3 minutes. So, fellas, just bear with me. There's a reason I'm called the Chief. I spent 27 years in the Navy, and I have been through alcohol treatment myself in 1983, so it's been 30-some years. That's the last time I had a drink, and I'm kind of proud of that myself. I'm not patting myself on the back, but I'm proud of it. Anyway, John Moxley stepping up this week and going into alcohol rehab. I applaud you, sir. Tony Khan, I applaud you too for coming out. The statement you make, backing the man up. It takes a big set of balls to do something like that publicly. Believe me. It's demoralizing, dehumanizing, and until you hit the bottom, nobody knows what it's like. I'm speaking from experience. So, John, best of luck to you. And then we get out here a couple days ago, and we had another gentleman who had a bright NFL career, Mr. Ruggs III. Alcohol played a part in your 150-some mile an hour automobile accident that killed a 23-year-old young lady out here. And all you had to do is pick the phone up and call somebody. Somebody would have come and given you a ride. And I'm sure that if you called the Raiders, they'd have sent a stretch limo for you. There's no doubt in my mind about that. So you've been released, and now you're in jail. We got pictures up. You can see the young lady and her dog. My condolences go out to the family for the loss of that young lady. And you can see it's really bothering me, and I hate to see stuff like that. I know it happens in the world. You know, there's a lot of issues in the world today. Alcohol, mental health. You know, sometimes we need to take a step back. And if we are having a problem, we just need to swallow our pride a little bit and ask for some help. Because there's some good people around here. So, to the one gentleman who's probably going to end up in prison, I feel sorry for you. But to the gentleman that stepped up and said he's got the alcohol problem, you know what? Come back out a hell of a lot better. And I'm here for you. I'm in your corner. You know I'm in Vegas, so you're out here. You find my ass. All you got to do is ask somebody where the Chief's at. They'll find me. Love you. That's the Chief's Rant today. Over and out.
You're watching Thoughts Count Anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
Sin City Sublimation is an all-in-one design and manufacturing shop making everything here in Las Vegas. Most companies have everything made overseas. We do not and can do all the work in 2 weeks or less. From the court to the field, we have all types of sports uniforms for your liking, but if you are looking for something else, we also make memorial shirts, birthday shirts, and fan gear for your kids' teams. Send us an email at sales@sincitysublimation.com, and if you mention Thoughts Count Anywhere, we will take $5 off each shirt with a minimum of 12 purchased. A pro wrestler-owned business, we are known for reasonable pricing with a fast turnaround, all made in the USA. For more information, go to sincitysublimation.com for more.
If you order Firehouse subs online or with our app, we'll have those delicious, melty subs boxed, bagged, and ready to pick up with rapid rescue to go. Firehouse subs. Enjoy more subs. Save more lives.
This is John Cena. I just wanted to send you a congratulations on your podcast. Thoughts count anywhere. Because indeed they do. Thoughts are important. I mean, what would we do without them? And how can they not count anywhere? Is there a place that thoughts don't count? I can't think of one. Well, I just wanted to say thank you very much, congratulations, and good luck on the podcast. Thoughts count anywhere, because they do.
All right, welcome back. Chief, on behalf of Matt, myself, and everybody here, we tip our cap to you for your beautiful words prior to break. So, God bless you.
Thank you for allowing me to have a little extra time.
That's all right. Now that we're on for 2 hours, we got a little extra time. So.
We know people that know people.
That's right. We know peoples that know peoples.
Let's do some wrestling.
All right, let's get back on task here. Let's see what else we want to. Jeff Hardy will be the next guest on Broken Skull Sessions. Exciting? Not exciting? What do you think? I mean, he usually does a very good job. Stone Cold does on these shows. What do you think we're going to get out of this? Are we going to see revelation? Speaking of somebody who's had alcohol issues and stuff in the past, Mr. Hart, is that what you're going to say? Sorry?
I wonder how deep into that. I wonder if they're going to ask him about Victory Road.
I don't know.
That'd be good.
Doesn't Stone Cold, though, pretty much has control over the show, so he can pretty much, I think, go wherever he wants to on the show, right?
He'll have Vince with a bedpan.
And have Mick Foley show up with Sacco.
There you go.
Jeez Louise. Sheamus will be returning this week after undergoing surgery on his... Did you see the pictures of him pre-surgery?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. While he was in the hospital bed? My goodness. Finally getting that nose repaired.
Carrot Top.
Can't wait for him to come back. He's always been an entertaining character.
Yeah, absolutely. No matter what he's done as a face or a heel or even somewhere in between. And you know what? Hey, we got to tip our cap to him because he continued to wrestle with the mask on for what, about a month and a half almost with a busted. Although this is the second surgery, so he did have surgery to repair at one time.
Yes,
but he continued to wrestle a couple of weeks before the second surgery.
Old school wrestling, never.
That's right. I mean, do we forget about the fact that John Cena had his nose busted open on TV by Seth Rollins when he was rammed into the turnbuckle? Blood gushing the hell out of his nose, and he continued the match without even hesitation.
Yeah,
you know, and that is old school. And tip our cap to Sheamus. He's been a great performer for WWE a long time. I would like to see him get measured back up with Cesaro as the bar and get a title. Get a title.
I'd rather see Cesaro become like Universal or WWE champion.
I would agree with that too. But with the two people that they have in the forefront of those titles right now, I don't know if we'll see Cesaro. If he didn't listen, the run he had last year going up against Reigns, right? If he didn't capture it there, it's going to be hard to recapture that momentum again because they needed something during the Thunderdome era.
True.
And Cesaro was it because people had been clamoring for Cesaro to get that push for a long time. And he got it. And he had a hell of a run against Reigns, not once, but twice, and then dealing with the Usos, et cetera, et cetera. Have we seen Cesaro lately even at all on TV?
Not really.
No, not that I can think of.
AEW Full Gear will be playing in movie theaters across America. Jeez,
do you remember Larry Sharp?
Of course I do.
Do you know Larry Sharp trained Sheamus?
I did not know that.
At the Monster Factory.
Really?
Yep.
Larry Sharp, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, when he was in WWE, people don't like hearing this, but he was a little bit of a jobber.
Yes.
He wasn't too sharp on it?
No, he wasn't. No, not at all. Not at all. So Cinemark, AMC, Regal, Harkins, iPick, Imagine Entertainment, and other theaters, theater chains across the country are going to be carrying Full Gear. That's an interesting... And you know what? Good on the movie theaters because although there's an AMC theater on Rainbow when I go up 95, and I know you know where that is. I'm sure you guys do as well. When I go there, when I pass there in the evening, especially on weekends, that place is pretty packed.
Yeah.
And people for the longest time have had a concern about going back to the movie theaters. Now, I don't know if they have social distancing going on in the theaters. I have to be honest, I've not gone back into a movie theater. More so because there really hasn't been a movie to pique my interest that's not on HBO Max right away nowadays. But the one I see, AMC, is packed. So, but kudos to these theaters because it's a way to get people into their business. Once again,
They need to put a movie theater in a Walmart because nobody gives a shit about like packing a Walmart to get sick, but being 2 seats away from somebody in a movie theater is an issue.
That's right.
AEW, the chief says give away free popcorn. You'll get people in there.
There you go. I'd be all over.
AEW, just come back to Las Vegas.
That would be even. That would even be gooder.
Sometime.
Where am I speaking? Holy cow! Maybe I need some.
You
popcorn.
teach English too?
No, thank God.
Thank you, Jesus.
I teach Hebrew. I teach Hebrew. No, I'm only kidding. Oh my goodness gracious! Mandy Rose, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, you're going to say something.
I was going to say this is Matt's segment coming up here.
Which one?
Mandy Rose.
Okay, you want to take the honors of doing this one? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Matt.
Mandy Rose is now the only woman in the history of the Tough Enough series to win a championship in WWE. She's come a long way in the last couple of years. She went from the hubcap almost
with Sonya Deville, right?
Oh, she was.
I mean, she came up with
like when she first came in. Everyone's like, "Oh, she's a side candy. She ain't gonna do anything."
Right.
Then she got in the tag team. She got a little better. Then they separated, and you're like, "Eh." She's hot, but
then
she can't really go in the ring. And then all of a sudden, she dyed her hair and turned it on.
But the story with Otis, though, that storyline was, I think, a big catapult for her to get mainstream attention. I agree with you about her wrestling skill set, although she did show some improvements with Dana Brooke a little bit. She did. I'm not saying, Dana Brooke aside. And then going down to NXT, man, like you said, changing the color of her hair just seemed to really turn it up a notch for her.
That Otis storyline just made every fat guy go, there's a chance. Holy crap.
That is so true. That's a great point. That's a great point. Those guys couldn't get the pretty girl in high school. Absolutely. But listen, I agree. Now it's Toxic Attraction, because now the other two now have the tag titles.
Yeah.
It's a nice little faction down there.
Oh, yeah.
And the little edge that Mandy has provided now is really helping her, and I think really helping NXT 2.0. Chief?
I like Mandy. I always have. Okay. Two things, though. I watched NXT Wednesday night. Mm-hmm. She needs to work on her tan. Okay. Or it was bad camera lighting. It just something didn't look right. And I liked her as a blonde myself. Okay. That's just my personal opinion. But remembering her when she started and to see where she's at now professionally.
Mm-hmm. It's like night and day.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. You said it.
Of the 18 people or so that were released, okay, I know it's NXT 2.0, whatever. Why couldn't they have sent some of these people back to NXT that had huge success for NXT for a while?
That would make sense.
Oh, that's what it is. It's logical. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, because here you took Mandy, who was not having any success on the main roster for all intents and purposes, right?
Sure.
You would have thought that at some point she'd have been part of that release list previously, right?
Very true.
Why was she very quickly and quietly selected to go back to NXT among anybody else that they could have moved back there? What was it at that time? And again, I'm asking rhetorically, what was it at that time that the WWE said, you know what, we got all these wrestlers, but you know what, Mandy, off to NXT in the next week, and she had just wrestled with Dana Brooke the week before, and all of a sudden she shows up on NXT with no rhyme or reason.
Apparently there was like a trade for Aaliyah, but Aaliyah's not been seen on Raw since that happened.
Was she
whatever happened?
Was she on the release list? Wait a minute.
I'm sure Vince walked by her and Gorilla was like, keep that ass here. Bring her to Florida.
There's two people I'm proud of that got called up, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of them.
They're two of the few that have made it on the main roster.
That are being kind of left alone, so to speak.
Well, they're not. If you look at first of all, Rhea Ripley's look and a little bit of a character tweak when she first made her roster debut going after Asuka for a title, and then look at Damian. You know what? They were, maybe. Is he here? Okay, well, that's cool. Now, Damian, after not being on TV for a week or two, they've kind of made him a little edgier from what I saw and what I've been reading. So here come the tweaks.
And I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Okay, I'm okay with that. I guess the point I was trying to make is that their making it.
Yeah.
They're having matches on TV. They're
Right.
not. They're being seen.
Right.
They're not down in what do we call that? The food place there.
I was interrupted, kind of. I didn't hear what you
Where's
said.
the food? What's the food place called there? You know, backstage.
Oh,
Where's-
catering.
Yeah, in catering. So that's how I look
Yeah,
at it.
listen, you're right. I mean, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people wasting time back there. But this goes back to the hours being spent. The hours being spent with all these performers, not enough, too many performers, not enough airtime. The concern if any of these 18 or 70 plus people have been released, if they go to AEW, they're going to be the same crunch time of not having enough airtime. You can put more and more time on, but then do we dilute the product again with so many different shows to get everybody airtime?
You have wrestlers over AEW right now that aren't getting airtime.
Exactly.
You know, so
Where do you draw the line and just kind of go with what you have instead of just because WWE, I think, got into trouble when the pandemic started just to keep re-signing or signing some of these other free agents. So AEW didn't get them.
Yeah.
let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about selling merch earlier.
Yeah.
I think the people that WWE kept, with the exception of a few, are selling merch. I don't.
Someone explain the Fiend still.
I agree. I agree.
And his belt is still up on the site to
I
sell.
agree.
For sale. That's the last time I looked.
And they need to put it at 50% discount. So, I
Well, and there's an example.
I
right
already
here.
had a rant, so I don't want to do
but
another
no,
rant.
You absolutely can, but I mean, look at the shirt I'm wearing. Guy's not even there. I got 3 or 4 of Carrion shirts, and with Scarlett.
I got a freaking closet full of Kevin Cross's shirts.
Well,
you know what?
I don't know him as well.
You know what? The bottom line is, WWE, you fucked up. Okay, I'm gonna put it simple now. You said he wasn't getting over with the fans. You don't know how to work him with the fans. We saw it out here for 6 years, okay? And he was the biggest star out here that got over with the damn fans.
And not even though with that, but he got over in NXT though.
Now, you want me to really talk about it?
No. Hang on. hang on.
Don't get me started.
Hang on. But he got over in NXT though.
Then-
So I'm agreeing with you.
So then why the hell didn't they send him back down to NXT?
Hence my question.
Because he
2 months ago, yeah.
already won the belt twice, and they didn't want to send him down again. I saw a blurb here that Gargano and somebody else was having a match up at SmackDown, Dark SmackDown tonight. So I wonder if they're getting ready to screw them over.
They're going to be gone in a month. That's where WWE superstars go to die.
But you
is
just
the dark matches
dark
of
matches.
SmackDown.
But you just echoed my exact question before. You know, they sent Mandy back.
Yep.
And we have all of these lists of great names for the most part. You know, let's call it as it is. Carrying number 1 on this list. Keith Lee, number 2, in my opinion. Why didn't they offer them? What was different about not allowing them to go back to NXT like they sent Mandy off in the dark of the night?
Let me ask a question. How long's it been since Mandy was down at NXT? A couple years?
Yeah.
Okay. That could be the reason why.
Oh, okay.
Because Kevin and Keith were down there recently.
Okay.
And maybe they just didn't want to send him back down there this soon. And it could be with Kevin. He won the belt twice. You know, who was there for him? The other thing was Keith won the North American Championship down there. Could be the same premise. Just my speculation.
No, I mean, that's why we're asking. These are open-ended questions. We don't obviously have the answer, of course. I mean,
I think Mandy never really made the impact in either one to really identify with one or the other. She was always like, "Ooh, who's that hot chick on screen?" And that was the last you thought of Mandy Rose on WWE TV.
Corey Graves certainly loved her.
But Keith Lee was former NXT champion and
Right.
North American champion. Cross was a champion. So they've made their mark in NXT. So you can't really promote somebody to immediately put them back down.
But how many times do we talk about certain wrestlers don't need a belt around their waist to still be winners? You know what I'm saying?
True.
I mean, there are...
I think changing Cross's entrance and putting that retarded demolition mask on him was like
And look what they did to Keith Lee when he first debuted.
They put a skirt on him and they're like, here, go on.
And changed him. Anyway, look, we got 2 hours, but we could go 5 hours discussing.
As a friend of ours always says,
yes,
it's always about selling merch.
Right. And that's why we're talking about it. But again, I mean,
who's going to buy that retarded helmet? Nobody.
See if it shows up on eBay. That would be funny.
Even I saw a tweet. He's like, somebody's asking if they wanted the helmet, and Cross was like, you don't want that shit.
Yeah.
I want that helmet right here.
That's right. That would be funny. Booker T says the women's division in NXT needs to be revamped as well. Agree or disagree?
The women's division in NXT.
Does anybody
revamped like NXT?
Who the hell does he want to put in there?
I don't know.
You know, it makes a general comment like that. Give some names, Booker.
It needs to be revamped to the point it doesn't need to evolve around the 4 horsewomen 24/7.
No.
For like the last 5 years. Because if you're not one of those 4 women, you're not getting over. And you have a very little chance of doing anything in that goddamn company. Because anybody with talent ends up on the goddamn release list.
Absolutely.
Maybe when he's out here at the end of the month, I'll ask him who he thinks might want to go into WWE women-wise.
There you go. Let's ask him. Because some of the ladies' talent was obviously called up to the main roster, so there's going to be a couple of holes there. But I'm just curious as to what he had in mind.
Isn't that the way it's supposed to be, though? You know, with NXT, you know, or with WWE, you start at the training facility, you go to NXT, then from NXT you either go to SmackDown or you go to Raw. One of the two. That's the way the progression's supposed to work.
Now it's you go to NXT and then you go to AEW and then you feud with Cody Rhodes.
Hey,
that's a progression of a WWE superstar.
Here's one other avenue that is affected by these cuts is we forget about some of these performers are here on visas or passports. Recently released WWE superstar Katrina Cortez reveals she may have to leave the U.S. Cortez was one of the 18 WWE superstars who was with the company who recently was released. The former NXT star is currently in a tight spot, and to make matters worse, it may seem like Cortez may have to leave the United States. After all, in a tweet that she put up before last night's episode, this was information from the night before, went on air, Cortez explained she came to know that day that her visa were to expire next month, being December. So she has to figure out what to do next. You know, I mean, here's a young talent that wants to obviously stay in wrestling and stay in the U.S. And unfortunately, after being released, now that work visa is kaput.
It's kind of what happened to the Iconics. They got released and they were on work visas.
Right.
So they had to go through a bunch of hoops to get their visas sponsored by a new employer and all this other stuff to finally end up in Impact Wrestling months and months after their 90 days were up.
Absolutely. All right. I think it's time for another break. Are we at the clock always has me messed up. Are we at the top of the hour of hour one is wrapping up? Wow. Hour one's in the books. That means hour number 2 is on the other side of the break. That's what it means. And it means a wardrobe change.
That math education's really working for you.
Listen. All right. You're watching Thoughts Count Anywhere, coming to you from the Go Live Vegas studios in Las Vegas. We will be back for hour number 2 right after this.
It's not the worst podcast ever, is it? It's the best podcast. Thoughts Count Anywhere. All your wrestling news, all your hobbit all your gimmickry. Go on over, listen wherever your podcasts are downloaded. The Thoughts Count Anywhere podcast. I'm the big LG Doc Ellis. That's my endorsement. Booyah!
At Firehouse Subs, a portion of every purchase helps provide much-needed life-saving equipment to first responders. We make our subs differently because our subs make a difference. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs. Save more lives.
If inspiration is the beginning, where does it lead? Experience the 2021 Mazda 3 sedan and see where inspiration can take you.
Grab the brass ring in a 2021 Mazda 3 with exclusive FSW discounts at Findlay Mazda. Get Garth today at the Valley Auto Mall.
Sin City Sublimation is an all-in-one design and manufacturing shop making everything here in Las Vegas. Most companies have everything made overseas. We do not and can do all the work in 2 weeks or less. From the court to the field, we have all types of sports uniforms for your liking, but if you are looking for something else, we also make memorial shirts, birthday shirts, and fan gear for your kids' teams. Send us an email at sales@sincitysublimation.com, and if you mention Thoughts Count Anywhere, we will take $5 off each shirt with a minimum of 12 purchased. A pro wrestler-owned business, we are known for reasonable pricing with a fast turnaround, all made in the USA. For more information, go to sincitysublimation.com for more.
If you order Firehouse subs online or with our app, we'll have those delicious, melty subs boxed, bagged, and ready to pick up with rapid rescue to go. Firehouse subs. Enjoy more subs. Save more lives.
This is John Cena. I just wanted to send you a congratulations on your podcast. Thoughts count anywhere. Because indeed they do. Thoughts are important. I mean, what would we do without them? And how can they not count anywhere? Is there a place that thoughts don't count? I can't think of one. Well, I just wanted to say thank you very much, congratulations, and good luck on the podcast. Thoughts count anywhere, because they do.
All right. Thoughts Count Anywhere, hour number 2 underway. Thank you for watching. I want to thank our sponsors, Bruise Brothers, Sin City Sublimation. Oh, Firehouse Subs. When are we doing our next remote for Firehouse Subs? We changed the date. We pushed it to December, right?
First Tuesday of December, I think is December 6th, 7th.
I was going to say 7th, I think, is the actual date, but I'm sure we'll check that out. We will be so we're going to be there because of the holidays and everything. We kind of want to space it out a little bit. So the Tuesday,
It's December the 7th.
there you go. Isn't that D-Day?
Yes, it is.
All right, so we'll have.
And I will be wearing a special shirt that day.
All right, so we will be celebrating and honoring those as well. We are working on a guest. We're waiting for confirmation as to whether that guest can join us. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir, and hopefully I'll hear by the end of the week.
All right, there you go.
And I'm not giving the name up yet.
No, but I know who it is.
Yes, you do.
What? Oh, is
What?
I'm sorry. I'm just. Well, you got it in the same chat room conversation there. That was just provided to us. All right. So I think we covered about as much as we can. Dana Brooks' fiance was arrested for battery for tracking down and punching an online troll.
I don't see the crime in this.
Punching a troll, punching out a troll, stalking somebody is not an issue.
He should get a medal from like the mayor. So many people online have like a little too much freedom. Mike Tyson said that people got a little too much freedom to post something online and not get punched in the face for it. It's about time people start.
Listen, you know, in this day and age, you just don't know what's going to happen when you post stuff on social media. Herm Edwards, when he was on ESPN, had a great line. He says, you know, when you're ready to put something up on social media, he has 3 simple words. Don't hit send. or using the words of one, Matt Hardy, delete, delete, delete. Do not send, because once it's out there, you can try to delete it all you want. It's out there. And it's funny how many times people reshare deleted tweets. All of a sudden, it was deleted off so-and-so's page, but we managed to get a picture of it. How does that happen?
They need to go to the Hillary Clinton school of deleting stuff.
Send your messages.
Don't ever send like threatening stuff to an MMA fighter. They're
No.
all unhinged. Like, you don't know if they're.
I'll bet you Bill Clinton couldn't hit the delete button.
Bet you couldn't hit something else either.
Oh, he did hit something. He did hit something else, didn't he? Or almost. Well,
That just
anyway.
popped into my head, you know.
Jeez Louise.
What the hell?
Ladies and gentlemen, if we don't show up on next week's show, look for us buried somewhere. Anyway, oh my goodness.
8 miles out and 6 feet deep.
That's right. Okay. All right. We might as well talk about it since we have. Becky wants to team up with Seth again. Good idea. Why? I don't even remember.
Sells merch.
I don't remember it the first time.
Sells merch.
Please, somebody remind me. How did they team up the first time? Please remind me.
They just announced that they were a couple and ended up tag teaming when they were women's champion and universal champion.
What match were they
But
in?
it made Seth look dumb, like simping over his girlfriend on Monday Night Raw.
But what match was it that they wrestled against?
It was Corbin and Lacey Evans against those two for like both belts on the line.
Oh,
and
yes.
all that nonsense. Nobody wants to see that.
You know what? Speaking of Lacey Evans, was she on a recently released list that I might have missed?
No, she's just had
I
a
know
kid.
she's home with the kid. I get that she's on a leave, but
Apparently that didn't make it safe either. So
She's on medical leave. If Vince is that cruel and doesn't give a shit, okay, then release her. If not, then wait until she's ready to come back.
then release her
And then
without
release
even
her.
wrestling.
he's
Exactly.
gonna give her the papers to come back like Wednesday and be like, "Oh, you're fired Thursday." Have fun. Hope you save diaper money.
It's so sad that we're laughing at this stuff because you know what? The timing of this at holiday time really sucks. that
They've
they're
almost
doing
made this a joke at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, you know, while,
It's just like what dumb thing WWE's gonna do next.
hey, while I'm thinking of it,
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday, November the 20th and 21st at Sunset Station, Power Play Sports and Collectibles will be doing their monthly show.
Wonder what made you think of that all of a sudden.
Because I know where my bread's buttered. And I'll leave it at that.
Well, isn't there another event that weekend?
I think he's more into I can't believe it's not butter these days.
I'll let you talk about that one.
Well, I believe Impact Wrestling is going to be back in town in November.
Turning Point.
Turning Point. Some matches have been announced already. That will be taking place Saturday. You just woke Chief up. Saturday night at Sam's Town. That'll be the Turning Point pay-per-view. More details to follow, so hopefully we'll have some stuff to talk more about that. So mark that on your calendars if you want
Moose
to
will
take it.
defend the Impact World title against Eddie Edwards, and they just announced that the Inspiration will defend the Knockouts tag team titles against Decay, Jessica Havoc, and Rosemary.
Jeez. Okay, so a couple of matches are lining up. All right, so
That
that's
should be fun.
yeah, it should be fun. Just what was that date? The 20th, right?
Yes.
That's the weekend right before Thanksgiving.
Correct. You
And
are.
then I don't know what the dates are, but then Impact will grace us again
That's the
in
week
December.
the week before my birthday.
Oh, there you go. Make sure you get yourself on the birthday list that week.
Negatory, Big Ben.
Why? We couldn't announce your birthday? At least the date? I'm not saying we give away the age.
Day before the day before, day before the show, the 26th.
Oh, all right. There you go. Well, I'll be out of town. I'll be in Virginia.
That's good.
I'll have to send you a message. I'll have to call in from Virginia just to wish you a happy birthday. Maybe I'll still just do the birthday list so I can announce your name. But you better write it on the Facebook page so you remember to add it to the list.
He's old enough that he missed Jesus' actual birthday by one day.
I was watching it on TV.
No, you watch it on the radio. You don't watch it on TV. Watch it in the burning bush for crying out loud.
There
There
you
we
go.
go. See, that was your first birthday toy, wasn't it?
There we go.
Chief, look at the screen. Wasn't that your first birthday toy?
That's correct.
Right? 1910, man. I'll
Yep.
tell you what, those sticks were very dynamic.
You got that right, brother.
My goodness.
Do a
You
lot of
better
things with
watch
those.
where those sticks go.
That's what she said.
All right, let's get back to wrestling.
All right, AEW Impact Ring of Honor report. Why do we still have Ring of Honor on here? They're defunct for a couple of months, aren't
Hey,
they?
I want to throw the question out.
Okay.
I posed it earlier.
Okay.
Okay, I want to throw it out seriously. ROH isn't supposedly going to be back until the second quarter of 2022.
Right.
What would happen if they all of a sudden wanted to spend money and signed Bray Wyatt, Kevin Cross, Keith Lee, Braun Strowman, Scarlett, and a few of the other ladies that WWE let go and kept it a secret from everyone until they rebranded and came back on TV. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Lakers with Karl Malone.
Oh,
Let's see how long before the CEO of Ring of Honor went to prison for embezzlement to even come up with that kind of money.
You never know.
I'm telling you, we just should start a GoFundMe account.
You never
We
know.
should get the gazillions of dollars, and we can start our own wrestling organization with said personnel. I got my first $1.30 right here. I'll throw it into the middle of the table right now.
I've got a.
You got a feeling. Ooh.
You never know what happens. I'm just throwing it. I'm just throwing that out there, though. You know, I mean,
yeah. Who knows, right?
If I'm wrong, I thought Sinclair had something to do with ROH. Sinclair Broadcasting.
They own ROH.
Okay, so they have some money. They have some. They have some money.
Some.
And I think if something like that was to happen, they could give Impact a run for their money. Just my thought, okay? I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know nothing. I'm just throwing that idea out there. It's an interesting concept. Do I think it'll happen? Probably not. But what if Bryan Danielson then went over to ROH and away from AEW after his contract's over? That's some hell of a talent there. That could be, you know, I'm just saying. And then you got the Briscoe brothers as the tag team champs. You got Jay Lethal as a wrestler. You got a few of the other guys, Matt Taven in them. You got
There's no way those guys aren't going to get signed somewhere by April.
I hope so. Okay, don't get me wrong. I hope so. But you know, we'll see what happens. It's just a thought. You know, I threw it out. I threw it out.
Yeah, we were talking about it before we went on the air. Actually, before Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Correct.
My thing with something like that to happen is they need a TV contract. They need to be on relevant TV with those kind of names potentially floating out there. Okay, we know Impact is on what Access right now. Now,
Yeah.
if I have access on my satellite provider, I get it. I watch it. Not everybody has access to Access.
No,
well,
I
you can't
don't.
watch it on Twitch, and everyone has access to Twitch.
Well, he doesn't.
I don't.
You have that iPad.
I don't have
You can put
Twitch.
Twitch on there right now.
I don't. No, I don't have Twitch.
Everybody's smartphones are only as smart as the users. If you really want to watch it.
I don't have Twitch.
But let's look at AEW is on TNT TBS. Okay. Some still classify that as almost like a regional network because they know it's based in Atlanta, et cetera, et cetera. But they're a big network. And again, you have to have cable at least for that. You don't need a satellite provider like I have for that. Okay. We know WWE is on USA and Fox, major networks.
Correct.
With those kind of talents, if I were the owner of this said arrangement, like you were just alluding to, I'd want to showcase them on as big a network as possible, as big a platform as possible, so I get the bigger sponsors.
I agree.
So unless Sinclair, like we were talking about, would be willing to pony up and somehow create a national network that would allow that to happen, that to me would take they would be in the red for a very long time before they would try to get to the other side.
You know, I mean, I don't know that part of the business. I was just throwing it out there. You know, you would think that they're going to get signed, and I agree with you. They're going to get signed very quickly.
Oh yeah.
But I would have thought Bray'd be signed by now. You know, really.
So I would have thought somebody would have, right? Now,
from what I've heard from reliable people, he has like interests outside of wrestling. I'm sure he wants to do before he does everything in wrestling. But wrestling is his bread and butter, so he's got to return at some point.
Well, then there was a picture of him outside the MGM studios with the guy who created the Fiend mask, alluding to who knows what. It could be alluding to movie projects, could be alluding to other projects like you were just talking about outside of wrestling. So.
He played a good psychopath for years. He could be a great villain in a lot of movies.
A lot of movies, absolutely. This was just put up something we really haven't talked about on SmackDown. Roman Reigns returned after a week off, quote unquote, from vacation, and he took a shot at his own company. Like WWE Raw, SmackDown sucks without me.
Acknowledge the tribal chief.
So how well or how badly that went over. Who wrote that line? Do you think he wrote it? Do you think Heyman wrote it? Or you don't think Creative wrote their own line to disparage themselves, do you?
Well, Raw does suck. He ain't lying.
No, that's true. That's very true. But interesting how they approached it, you know?
Even like you fast forward through like wrestling shows, everyone tends to stop at Roman and be like, what's he doing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And even it's just for a couple of minutes at an opening of a show or somewhere in the middle on a backstage interview, you're right, people are tuning in to see what Reigns is saying or doing. The Usos. Are people waiting now for Naomi to possibly join the tribe now with her battles with Sonya Deville? And look what happened last night on TV. She won the match. Apparently there was something with the rope before what I saw. Sonya Deville comes out, restarts the match. All of a sudden, the ref's decision is not all being all, as we've seen in many other situations. Sonya comes out, rubs it in the wound of Naomi, starts the match, and then, of course, Naomi loses to Baszler again. So... Tribal chief? Who knows? Right?
Yeah.
All right. Just thought I'd bring that up. Okay. Impact has taken the following names off their website. No Way, Taylor Wilde, TJP, Tommy Dreamer, and Petey Williams.
The Petey Williams one's kind of crazy because he's been backstage at Impact for years, like working behind the scenes.
He's working WWE now backstage, trying to become one of the production people.
Who is?
I literally saw him at
Petey.
Sam's Town
Petey?
like 100 times.
Well, Tommy Dreamer, no surprise there because of the fallout from the Dark Side of the Ring episode. He just returned to Busted Open last week.
Yeah.
But obviously he's still suspended and no longer part of Impact unless that's just part of storyline and may bring him back at some point. So
The show Heels, the wrestling show, has been picked up for year 2.
I did see that. Stephen Amell's show
Yes.
has been picked up. I don't have. Was that on Stars? I think.
Yeah.
I believe so.
I don't have Stars, so I've not seen it. But supposedly there was a lot of question as to whether it would come back. Obviously, they feel that it does.
Yes.
Great show.
Well, you talked about Moxley, so we'll let that. We'll skip that now.
Thank
Because
you.
of Moxley's absence, somebody had to replace him in the number 1 contender tournament, and will face Brian Danielson. Some habits are hard to break in the finals at Full Gear, and they've replaced him with Miro. Good
Yep.
move. What's your thoughts on Miro taking that spot or being given that spot?
I'm okay with Miro. Miro's one of the good guys that's come over to AEW and has shown that you can stick it up somebody's ass.
Yeah.
I'm
It
okay
took him
with
like
it.
a year, but they
Yeah.
wasted him for a good 6 months.
The best man role.
That was stupid.
Right. That was not the best. Well, then again.
But now what they're doing with him, he put on a good match with Orange Cassidy on Dynamite to get to the finals.
Yes.
So the match at Full Gear should be great. I fully expect Bryan Danielson to win it to get to Kenny Omega, but it'll be a good match.
Does Miro still have that other belt?
No.
No,
TV?
Sammy Guevara.
Oh,
Sammy
Guevara
TNT
won that a couple of
champion.
weeks ago. That's right. I forgot about that. Okay.
Has anybody took a good look at that TBS title?
Who do you think?
Someone tell me that doesn't say the Hose Championship on it.
Who do you think's going to win it?
Pull up a picture of the TBS Championship.
Who do you think's going to win it, Matt?
The TBS Championship?
Yeah. Any idea? What do you think?
Probably Jade Cargill or something, but I want Britt Baker to become Britt 2 belts.
I agree with you. I think Cargill's going to win it.
She doesn't impress me, though.
Although I would like to see Vicky's girl win it. I like her.
Vicky, who is she managing now? Is she still managing Nyla Rose? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Nyla.
And then did you see Vicky was the manager for FTR, I think, down in AAA Wrestling. They were going for putting up their belts or something.
Yeah.
So Vicky also was involved with that. All
All
right.
right, cool.
Oh, there it is. Is that the belt you're talking about?
Yeah.
And what is it that you think it is?
Doesn't the T and the B make the H? And
No.
then the end of the B is the O, and the end. That says Host Championship.
No, it says
That
I
says
see.
Host Champion.
TBS.
That clearly
I see.
says Host Champion. It doesn't say TBS.
When you get
Good
your,
luck unseeing that.
When'd you get your eyes checked, son? TBS.
Host
Is
Champion.
that like when Bailey was wearing the women's championship belt? There you go. There's a close up of it. So
See?
you could see
That says
the H.
hose.
You could see the I
That
can
says Hose.
Where's the E?
No, it's a
says
short
HOS,
version.
hose.
HOS.
Not Garden Ho. Ho Ho. Fremont Ho.
I got his ass that time.
I've had some long mornings before. Jeez. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Energy drink and some sleep. It's on.
I want to bring something up we ain't talked about
All
yet.
right, let's do it. How much time do we have left? I'm not even looking at the clock.
Cephalatu.
Yes. Solo
Solo.
is what about?
I hope he does not. I hope he works out at NXT, which I think he will. But for how long? We don't know.
Stay as long as you can. Right?
Yes.
I would have never thought I'd have to say, like, oh my God, I hope they never go to the main roster. But it looks like he'll be put right in the family thing, so he might be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
What did you say? Hopefully?
Hopefully.
Just like the whole what?
She gone too.
I guess
Dwayne couldn't even save her this time.
I guess blood's pretty thick.
By the way, did you send him that meme you referred to in the first hour? Did you send him that? Okay, we're gonna send you that meme.
Where you want to go now?
Where do
The
I
one
want
I
to go?
edited or the original one?
Both.
Hey, what do you think about Shotzi?
Changing up?
Yeah.
I have no problem with it.
Me neither.
I have no problem.
I hope.
Whatever gets somebody outside the 4 Horsewomen TV time, I am down with.
They will have to change. No more Tank though. The Tank that's got to be scrapped.
Why?
Because it was part of her. It was part of her face gimmick.
She's a heel. Make pepper spray come out of it somehow.
No, shoot the damn darts at the freaking opponent in the ring, man. Hell yeah. Come on.
But you can't do that in the match though. What? Do it before the match?
What
If
the
you
hell
do it outside the match, it should be DQ'd.
What the hell you mean you can't do it during the match?
It should be DQ'd.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Well, if the referee
Got to have
gets
AEW referees.
If the referee's is talking to the ring announcer or something, she can fire it.
Why not?
There you go.
All right. Danhausen breaks leg and undergoes surgery. That sucks.
Don't know who he is, so don't care.
Perhaps Matt can give us some background on that.
He's like one of the most entertaining people in Ring of Honor.
Okay.
So where did he break his leg? In Ring of Honor? Is that why
Oh,
they
he was
shut
working
down?
the independent show, but
He broke it at
where
the
did
knee.
he break one of his legs? It was on his leg.
At the freaking knee.
I already got that from
Jesus,
the guy on
man.
the couch. No, but was it one of the last ROH matches that he had or something?
He was at an independent show. It
Independent
wasn't
show.
at Ring of Honor.
Those darn indies. Jeez. Can you post time left so I know when to go to break, sir? If you don't mind. Once you get all that stuff. That's what's left, or that's what we're in? Okay. So we have about another 30 minutes. Wow. Okay, time flies. All right. So let's go to our next topic here real quickly. What does AEW need to do to boost ratings to become a real threat to WWE? I don't think anything, because the WWE keeps releasing people. They won't have to do anything. Listen, I even posted yesterday or the day before when you put the list out, I'm ready to turn in my WWE membership card. I mean, this is ridiculous.
That was funny. I just saw on Rampage last night when Max Caster came out against Bryan Danielson. He had the line of, "I'm going to put you in poverty, dog, because I'm ending careers faster than your father-in-law." His father-in-law is John Laurinaitis.
Oh, that's... oh, my God.
You're taking direct shots at him.
Holy cow. Listen, I'm sorry, but when the episode of Impact after Bound for Glory and Moose went in the ring with that promo where he's taking a jab at just about everybody, I'm not, Roman, or he was referring to...
I'm not your chief.
I'm not your
the
chief.
man.
This is not a new day.
I'm not your king or queen.
I think that was probably one of the best promos I'd heard in a long time, in my opinion. Will not be... Oh, right. WWE, for those... We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. They're not doing TLC in December. Instead, they're going to do January 1st. Will be their new pay-per-view, and I don't remember what the name of it's going to be called.
Day one.
Day one. There you go. So no TLC, which for all intents and purposes, I don't think many people are disappointed in, because there's only 2 TLC matches anyway on these themed cards. If you're mentioning a card's going to be a TLC, chamber, this, that, the other thing, why aren't all the matches held that way? Otherwise, what's the purpose? It's just do it as one gimmick match, and that's it, But what do I know about hockey? Okay.
They score lots of touchdowns.
There you go. Sabu announces retirement from in-ring competition due to back injuries. Only back injuries? I think there's a little more than just back injuries there with Sabu.
As much crazy stuff as he did, I'm pretty sure it's just full body injuries.
I was going to say, yeah, there's some stuff there. More than just back injuries. Hell of a career, though. I mean, you know, that as far as the hardcore style matches, I would think he was probably one of the early forefathers of what we know today as the death matches, I would think.
Had the privilege of seeing him many times at the ECW arena.
Yeah.
And he could put it on. So maybe it's just his time.
Do you have a history wrestling name for Aaron to look up for us to show before we check out at the top of the hour? You don't have to think. I don't mean to put you on the spot the second unless you have one.
Let me think about it.
All right, so we'll give him a moment or two. What else? Dan Lambert of ATT will have to compete in the 5 versus 5 match against the Inner Circle at Full Gear. Give some history on that.
The American Top Team has been feuding with the Inner Circle for like a couple weeks. The MMA team of Junior Dos Santos and the other MMA fighters, but Dan Lambert smartly said that he was the first member of American Top Team. So when Jericho got to pick the 5 members of American Top Team to go against, he was like, oh, you said you were number 1, so you're in the match.
There you go. There you go.
I want to see Jericho stick his foot up his ass, too.
Me too. That dude's annoying as hell. He does his job a little too well.
He gets over. He gets over.
Did you get those pictures from Matt?
That's what it's about.
I'm sending them right now.
Oh, okay. All right. Last topic, then we'll go for our final break, and we'll take it to the top of the hour. Britt Baker on WWE Developmental, quote, I don't think putting a bunch of models and athletes off the street in a warehouse and teaching them all to do the same thing at the same time is going to create a successful roster, end quote.
Truth.
And she spent a little time in the because she was part of one of the Mae Young first classic matches, right? Tournaments. Obviously, she was not then what she is now in terms of ranking and who she is on the main roster. But interesting that she says that, given that she was part of it for the Mae Young tournament.
True, they must see like the inner workings of like the performance center that we don't see. So,
which now they changed the performance center to some other national something or other, CWC or
and like NXT's there, it's the Capitol Wrestling Center.
Right. Okay, there you go. Kalisto, who made his AEW debut on Dynamite, is getting heat from the widow of Brody Lee and Chris Jericho for misspelling John's first name in a tweet. He spelled John instead of Jon.
The guy doesn't even really speak English, so I'm pretty sure you just use voice to text, honestly. But
I mean, is it that much to be making this much of a
I get it to a point, but really?
Cut him a little slack? What do you think?
Aaron.
You spelled my name wrong in books.
Right, exactly.
On invitations, on emails.
Aaron.
Hand and stone stuff.
Princess.
Published books.
Princess.
I don't get that mad
Little
about
Cloud.
If I had something soft, I'd throw it at you right now. But I only have a pen. I don't want to poke an eye out. Anyway.
I have an empty bottle.
All right.
Did you hear my name?
I did not, sir.
Princess Little Cloud.
Princess Little Cloud. Sounds like we'll have some short rain. Anyway.
That sounds like on something that can be on like a alternative site.
We don't have those kind of sites.
See, that's because you jabronis don't know the history of female wrestling.
Well, you watched it on radio, so
yes,
what do we know?
I did.
All right, we're going to step aside for our last break. Hopefully, in our last when we come back, he'll have those couple of memes and stuff ready to go, and we'll have some. Okay, well, he needs a few seconds to get them ready, so we can do that on break, and then we have. I don't think we have any other wrestling topics based on the run sheet that I could see. We have birthdays to still do.
Yes,
some
we
pop
do.
culture, and a reminder for when our next Firehouse Subs remote will be. So with that. You're watching Thoughts Count Anywhere. We're entering the clubhouse turn. We'll be right back.
It's not the worst podcast ever, is it? It's the best podcast. Thoughts Count Anywhere. All your wrestling news, all your hobbit, all your gimmickry. Go on over, listen wherever your podcasts are downloaded. The Thoughts Count Anywhere podcast. I'm the big LG Doc Ellis. That's my endorsement. Booyah!
At Firehouse Subs, a portion of every purchase helps provide much-needed life-saving equipment to first responders. We make our subs differently because our subs make a difference. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs. Save more lives.
Sin City Sublimation is an all-in-one design and manufacturing shop making everything here in Las Vegas. Most companies have everything made overseas. We do not and can do all the work in 2 weeks or less. From the court to the field, we have all types of sports uniforms for your liking, but if you are looking for something else, we also make memorial shirts, birthday shirts, and fan gear for your kids' teams. Send us an email at sales@sincitysublimation.com, and if you mention Thoughts Count Anywhere, we will take $5 off each shirt with a minimum of 12 purchased. A pro wrestler-owned business, we are known for reasonable pricing with a fast turnaround, all made in the USA. For more information, go to sincitysublimation.com for more.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Thoughts Count Anywhere.
Talking about subsidy sublimation.
Okay, I was going to wait to see if you can get that word out before.
I had to position my false teeth. I almost had to take the damn things out. Anyway,
Yes.
I saw you working out in the shirt. How was it? Pretty comfortable?
Let me tell you, that dry fit shirt
Yes, sir.
was tremendous.
All right, just checking.
And let me tell you, it absorbed so much sweat that I was able to wring it out when I got home
Okay.
from doing those front squats.
All
Tempo
right.
front squats are not easy.
Just wanted to check.
But yes.
There,
Oh,
there
hey,
she
oh,
is.
Hey, oh. Who's that again? Little grain cloud, did you say, or what?
Princess Little Cloud.
Oh,
Jesus.
I had cloud. I got 1/3 right. It's been a long day.
Does she actually look Native American?
Yes.
When
is.
did she
Besides
wrestle?
the headdress?
She wrestled in the 40s.
Wait a minute. Was she 40 when she wrestled? Or you're saying in the 40s?
She wrestled in the 40s.
in the 40s. Who are some of her? I'm asking.
Fabulous Moolah.
Oh, Fabulous Moolah wrestled everybody. I think.
All right.
Was there anybody else at that time? That I don't know. I'm literally asking. No.
Mae Young.
Okay. So that's another one. Okay.
That's the whole history.
Was she ever a title? Was she a title holder?
Show the other one's most accurate
Wait a
thing.
minute. Let's
in
me
the
explaining
history
what
of-
wrestling was. Right. We got to read that one first. And who provided us this one, by the way?
Garth.
Okay. So everybody.
He
had
said
that
this
one?
reminds me of
Okay.
every Saturday morning.
Garth said that?
No. Wait for it.
Garth said that.
Wait for it. Then you'll know what he said it for. Okay. Switch it when you can, there, sir. Well, you.
It's okay. It's all right. It's no big deal. I'm not getting upset, man.
Okay.
When
Well,
the only thing I got to say is when I see his ass, I'm going to put him in the trunk.
there you go.
That's all.
That's it.
It's that simple.
Of a new Mazda down to Finley Mazda. All
There
right.
you go.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
That laugh
you-
track is as low as Little Cloud.
Well, if you can do any better, son, I will defer to you next week.
I won't be here for it, so good luck. By the way, Brett will be
He
sitting
don't
in
know
with me next
nothing. He
week.
don't know anybody past 1990, so you know we're in trouble
Trish
right off the
Stratus.
bat.
She wasn't.
You know
Stacy Keebler.
what can I say?
Where's- All right. By the way,
Scott, maybe I'll bring some of your pictures in and I'll educate them.
educate him. Hey, before I forget,
Mr. Garibaldi.
isn't that a pizzeria joint up
See, hey,
in
see what I got to put up with
up
with
Town
these
Square?
two jabronis, man.
Okay, hey,
you
before I
can-
forget, on Unsportsmanlike Conduct next week, Chief is going to sit in my spot because I will be doing a wrestling event, golf event. So Chief will be teaming in for the U-Haul brothers on Unsportsmanlike Conduct. And then Brett will be sitting in with you guys. What is that?
Scott,
I didn't hear what was said.
Scott, you're on call, buddy.
I didn't hear what you said. Yes, I actually am. I got 50% deposit today. No, I got 50% deposit today. No.
That was pretty good, though.
At the risk of said personnel listening
Stop,
to my shows,
stop,
I will not
stop.
share the dollar amount with you, but it's not
Stop.
50% of nothing.
Stop.
Jealousy rears its ugly head. That's all I got to say. All right. What was I saying? Oh.
Stupidity amongst people.
So, the fuck was that for?
I
Anyway.
have no idea.
What was I saying? Oh, Brett will be sitting in unless Scott bumps him out next Saturday. So I will not be here next Saturday for either show. So you guys play musical chairs. So, all right, let's go to some pop culture.
We can do that.
Atlanta Braves won the World Series. We good with that? I am.
Any team outside of Houston, I'm down for.
There you go. Why don't you take next topic? Pick any one of them.
Really? I didn't know that. Buster Posey retired from baseball.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
A couple of days ago. Yep.
He's definitely, in my opinion, a Hall of Famer.
First time?
First
time. Shut up.
Well,
Scott.
Well, let's put it this way.
You won't get the soft object. You may get the pen.
Let's put it this way. I'll say it this way. If Mallard gets in on the first ballot, Posey will get on the first ballot. Because Mallard definitely deserves to go in on the first ballot. Now, you want to talk baseball? We can talk baseball.
Mallard. Who are you talking
Mallard. Joe Mallard from the Minnesota
Joe
Twins.
Mallard. I thought you said Mallard.
I thought he said Mallard a couple times.
Did you?
Okay, so wait, it's not just me. Because one of my other cohorts here thought you said Mallard too.
You guys both must have shit in your ears today.
It could be at this
set of headphones.
Joe Mauer.
If Joe Mauer,
Mauer
from
Minnesota Twins catcher. If he goes in on the first ballot, Posey should go
I don't
in.
think he will. You know why? Because Mauer did not play his entire career as catcher. He went over to first base after injuries.
But he came back as a catcher after he went to first base.
Mauer did?
Yes, he did.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, so that's how many years did what's the year comparison? I mean,
I don't know. Look it up.
I don't have my computer in front of me.
Well,
You have your iPad.
But Buster Posey's also a 3-time World Series champion. So
listen, but statistically, I have no trouble if Mauer deserves going in on the first ballot. God bless him. I have no problem with that.
I don't either.
Listen, Posey, without knowing the comparison to Mauer,
I'm going to look it up.
I have no problem with him being a first ballot Hall of Famer either. He just better not get in unanimously.
I only have an issue with that one writer who didn't put Derek Jeter in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
He's from Boston. What do you expect? That happens. Boston does it. New York's going to pay him back when it's time for.
Wait till David Ortiz wants to.
When
go
Big
in.
Poppy's ready to go in, okay. When Big Poppy's ready to go in, New York Daily News writer is going to say no.
And I hope that makes him one.
I approve this message.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's just the way it happens.
This message approved by. Anyway, I have no problem with Mauer going in. I think he was a great bit. Him and Kirby Puckett over the years, they were both faces for Minnesota. And I have no problem with Joe Mauer going in. If he, at first ballot or otherwise, he'll get in. OBJ released the other day from the Browns. Lot of conversation on this about the video his father put out, which supposedly was made by somebody else. And we actually hashed this out a little bit on Unsportsmanlike Conduct this morning. You know, listen, OBJ, where will he land was really the next question. Where do you think he might land?
I heard the 49ers are looking at him and the LA Rams, which that's pretty crazy. They might hit the Super Bowl this year if they land him too.
New Orleans. They need a wide receiver because their number one wide receiver is out for the rest of the year.
Well, so do the Raiders. They what? Does it? Oh,
I don't know.
Our beloved Raiders name keeps coming up because of the Henry Ruggs situation. Yes. They need a wide receiver. Yes, the Saints, Michael Thomas. He is gone for the rest of the season. Patriots names keep coming up. Listen, half the league can be a target for him in the right scheme, but he can't go to a team that's a running style team first. That will not make him or his father happy. That's for sure. Jack Eichel traded from the Sabres to the Golden Knights, making one Golden Knights fan very unhappy. But he's going to be out for 4 months after his surgery or something anyway. So what did we trade for?
Playoffs.
For playoffs? Well. Send your comments to Scott Hosey, courtesy of Power Play Sports.
Okay, Joe Mauer.
Yes.
Played 15 years.
Okay.
In major leagues.
Okay.
Buster Posey played 12 years.
Okay. Give me year numbers. What was their overall batting average and Give me some stats if you have them in
Buster
front of you.
Posey was like 10 times more successful than Maurer.
Did
was, I'm
Maurer
pretty
win
sure.
a World? Did he win a
Maurer
World
won-
Series?
Maurer won the
He won-
damn American. Never mind.
He won the American League. What? He won Rookie of the Year, or was it MVP? No, share the stats. That's why we're asking.
He won MVP.
Okay.
Okay.
Buster Posey won 3 World Series.
That don't mean shit. That's a
kinda
team.
means everything
No,
in
no,
baseball.
hell no. That's a team award. That's not an individual award that's going to get you into the Hall of Fame. Okay? You're talking apples and oranges, son.
Your homework assignment for next week is look at the current.
Is to survive the
Hall-
next episode.
All right. With that, I think we've covered everything. I think it's time we wrap up. I think we've covered everything there is to cover. I think we're good to go for this episode. Yes? What we got? Final thoughts? What you got?
You got to do birthdays.
Oh,
But wait
birthdays.
a minute. Wait a
So I
minute.
was good.
Power
Yeah,
Play
we're not
Sports
done.
and Collectibles. Sunset Station.
What, today?
No.
20.
The 20th
My days are all messed up.
and the 21st.
Yes.
Come out for the sports card show.
And also Impact that Saturday night, the 20th, right?
You got it.
All right.
The pay-per-view is the 19th, and then they have tapings the 20th and 21st at Sam's Town.
I don't know.
19th is.
I thought it
it
was-
was
I
Saturday the
thought the
20th,
pay-per-views
21,
the
22.
Oh, yeah, Saturday 20,
And then
21,
the
and
21st
22.
and 22nd, the
All right.
TV
It is
shows.
birthday
Had
time.
to make you think.
Let's go out on birthdays, shall we? We'll go out on
Hey,
birthdays.
wait. Before.
That's right. Go ahead.
Somebody
Just
gets
keep
all
going.
hurt about the Minnesota Twins.
No. You're talking apples and oranges, son. So make sure you do your homework. Anyway,
Okay, Mueller.
please have a safe trip next week.
Yes, thank you.
We'll miss you, and
Going up to Salt Lake to see my daughter.
we may have a special guest.
And you're going to hear me break the sound speed record to get my ass back here. In plenty of
The
time.
Henry Ruggs jokes are just great.
I know.
Who?
Not
All
even
right.
going to say.
Don't even say. All right.
What's this fight?
No, nothing. It's just our producer.
Freaking Canadian.
Should be Fight A? Fight A? Okay, if you're celebrating a birthday from today, November 6th, through next Friday, November 12th, first of all, we want to wish you a happy birthday from all of us here at TCA, and you are celebrating a birthday with these wrestling people. November 6th, Matsumoto, Brutus Magnus, Nick Aldis, Fred Yehi. Is my pronouncing that right?
Fred Yehi.
Yehi. Okay, November 7th, King Kong Bundy. My God, what a name that brings back.
The Atlantic City Avalanche.
November 8th, Ted DiBiase Jr., Keith Lee, Okada. November 9th, Chris Jericho, and Pete Dunne. Something happened on November 10th because there's a whole slew of names here. Billy Gunn, Cowboy Bob Orton, Katarina, Katie Lee Burchill, Ryback, Dave Christ, and Peyton Royce. November 11th, Leo Rush, and November 12th, this guy lives in Vegas, doesn't he? Disco Inferno. Does he
Yeah.
not? Disco Inferno on November
Like
12th.
security at Sapphires.
Is he?
So
Yeah.
once again, celebrating a birthday for this week. Once again, happy birthday from all of us here and to all of you in the world of professional wrestling. All right, we are up against the time, so let's go right to final thoughts, Mr. Matt.
Apparently, the Minnesota Twins gets people worked up around
Well,
here.
you stop it. Stir the pot, why don't you? Jeez. Jeez.
Everybody have a good week. Stay
Ted-
safe. Watch your rearview mirrors.
Chief, on the heels of your rant, not your rant, yeah, your rant, your comments earlier, talk about what we see on the screen right now, if you can recall what that was about, sir.
Tag me in.
Yes, sir. What that was right in line with what you talked about.
That's about people taking care of people. And if you have a problem, we're all there. We're all here for each other. All we have to do is put the word out and listen and volunteer and educate and show love and compassion to your fellow human man and being and women and children.
Hashtag tag me in is what we're promoting. So if you want, look that up and get hashtag tag me in online, and you'll see everybody that's out there. Power Play Sports, as a reminder, they have the signing on the 20th. More details will follow probably next week because that'll be the week before. So you guys make sure you mention the details. With that, we want to thank everybody for watching this week's episode.
And have a safe trip.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And by the way, happy
You will-
Veterans Day.
You will be missed.
Thank you. Happy Veterans Day to everybody celebrating, to our very own chief as well. And to everybody out there, thank you for all those who served for Veterans Day. We should be doing that more than just one day a year. Anyway, for all of us here at Thoughts Count Anywhere, as always, be kind to everybody. Why is that? We're all we have. We'll see you next time on Thoughts Count Anywhere.